Hey, what's up, Stringlings? Today we are going to take a look at the newly released Terrain Tremolo from MayFly Audio. Let's check it out. MayFly Audio has put out some spectacular pedals just this year. Now, I've got a whole bunch of their stuff on a couple of different pedal boards. Trevor May just does amazing, excellent work, I have to say. Probably one of the most consistently high quality pedal builds I've come across in a very long time. And I'm not saying this for any other reason than I use the products and I like them. And this product is no exception. This is the brand new Terrain Tremolo, and it's gorgeous. We can get into all the details. It's a low impedance. It doesn't really impact your tone. It's very transparent, but first of all, I just want to go over a little bit about what you can expect with a tremolo pedal and why they're a little bit different from other modulations. The very first thing is we sometimes get confused when we look at whammy bars. We call them tremolo systems. They're not actually tremolo systems. So in classical music, when you talk about a tremolo, it's a very rapid repetition of a note. It repeats back and forth. When it comes to guitar effects on the tremolo, that means that the volume is going in and out. Or you can do tremolo picking. What you talk about with a whammy bar, it's actually a vibrato bar, which is to say it wavers the pitch. Tremolo doesn't do that. It swells the volume in and out. That does make it a modulation pedal, though. So in a pedal chain, the tremolo is going to go in that modulation section alongside chorus and phasers and flangers and that kind of thing, and vibrato pedals, actually. So for me, my preference, you can put these wherever you want. My preference is that the tremolo goes after anything with distortion in it, but before anything time-based like reverb or delay. Now, in this current situation here, what I've got down on the desktop is what would happen if I were going directly in a straight line, not using an effects loop or anything. So it would actually put the tremolo in front of the preamp with the reverb sort of in between them. And we'll hear this with a little bit of reverb later on as well. But if you're using an effects loop, this would go in the effects loop. I generally prefer to put the tremolo first in my effects loop, then the chorus, and then the big sweeps like the phaser or the flanger. Again, this is 100% my preference. You can mess around with it and put it wherever you want. In fact, use something like the flip-flop pedal. I've got one over there. Use something like the flip-flop pedal to try it in different combinations and see where you like it. The reason I like it there is because it's going to be creating that tremolo swell and reverse from the other side of the distortion, from the other side of the overdrives. So it's going to be actually swelling in and out, all of that stuff. It sounds a little bit odd to me when it's got an overdrive or a distortion after it. Again, my personal preference. Typically where you're using these things is going to be, the vast majority of the time, it's going to be in things like classic country, some classic rock, a little bit of blues. And then when you get into heavier styles with some fuzz and that kind of thing, you can really mess around with it. And put this after the distortion and you can get some really intense effects. Put it before the distortion and watch what happens. It just goes bonkers. So today, all I want to do is give you a really nice, clean setting on the Terrain, and just go through some of the tones and see what it sounds like. Let's grab a guitar. All right, so we're back, and I've got an E325, very nice semi-hollow guitar. Semi-hollow? Yep, semi-hollow guitar. I've done a review on this guitar before. I really like this guitar. It's got a nice classic warm sound to it. It's just a beautiful instrument to play on. The neck is great and all of that. My main reason for using this, I just wanted a nice mellow humbucker, so we're not pushing a ton of overdrive. We're just going to hear what this pedal sounds like in the context of being a really cool tremolo pedal. So right now on the pedal, I've got everything set up at noon. I'm on the bridge pickup here, but the pedal's not on. I'm using the MayFly Sunrise, which gives us that kind of Fendery blackface tone, and this is what we get clean. Okay, go to the neck pickup. Okay, some really nice, clean, pure tones. I really like this Sunrise amp simulator. If you haven't checked out that video, make sure you do, because It's just a really nice, clean amp. It makes a great pedal platform, actually. So just putting everything at noon, we've got speed, depth, waveform, and gain. The waveform control goes from a square to a sine wave to a triangle wave. They're not super different on high tremolo rates, but we're going to just try a little bit of the difference in the sound. So let's go all the way down to the square wave. This is up at noon, and it doesn't really indicate on here where that change happens, but let's try it out and just give it a little listen. Okay, so this is just go back to the bridge pickup, and this is, you can see the pulse of the tremolo there. So you can hear the sound going in and out, right? It's shifting the volume. This would be, if I'm sitting in the middle, it's going to be a sine wave. A little more like, here it's a little bit rounder, and then the triangle wave has more of a distinct peak in the middle. Okay, so you can play around with that a little bit and find one that you like. Personally, I'm kind of like in this area, especially when we get the speed up a little bit. So how slow does this go? Okay, so it goes very slow. When you're using a tremolo pedal, it's worthwhile getting it timed more or less to what you're doing in the music. Sometimes it's nice to have it just a little bit off, tempo, but traditionally you get it close to the rhythm that you're actually playing in, right? Because you can do things that are a little bit weird. Okay, now go back to noon on the speed, and let's just see what happens with the gain control. That's all the way down. So does that really change the volume? It does. Okay, so you can use that as a little bit of a boost as well if you wanted to just create a little bit more intensity when you bring in the tremolo pedal. And the depth, of course, we go from a fairly shallow tremolo, which is just a little bit of a waver in the tone. Get some nice lo-fi effects that way. Versus going sort of middle. It's very nice. Going all the way, as one does, all the way to the top. And check this out, this is crazy. This is where people get a little bit confused because it sounds like an echo. Which of course it's not, it's just swelling the volume in and out. But it gives you the effect of an echo. And the reason it's not an echo is because you hear it just stops, right? So less of a delay and more of just a repeat on the note, right? And it only repeats on a sustained note. So you see I just rolled the waveform all the way back over. We're going to go to a higher speed. And let's just see what it sounds like with the depth cranked all the way out. That's pretty intense. Compare that to about 3 o'clock. You can't actually hear the difference in the waveform. Back to pull the depth up. It's very nice. Again, right, you're typically not going to be quite that deep. You can go quite a bit faster if you want. Okay, so when you've got that speed cranked all the way up, you start running into almost like ring mod territory. I just want to turn everything up as high as it'll go, not the gain. That's spectacularly. So, yeah, like for 90% of the population that wants a nice clean tremolo, your classic rock sound, right? Yeah, great sounding pedal. Okay, so that is the MayFly Terrain Tremolo. Just a really, really great sounding, nice clean tremolo. A ton more features than you get on a typical small form tremolo pedal. Usually you get kind of a rate, like a speed and a depth, and maybe a mix to control how much is going in and out. The fact that he's added the waveform here, it reminds me of like a scaled down lighthouse. If you're familiar with the BCA lighthouse, it's got just a ton of waveform features and trims and gain settings, all kinds of really cool stuff you can do on it. It's an amazing tremolo pedal. This is just a much smaller form. We don't have any switches. We're just, you can roll through whichever waveform preference you want. A huge amount of depth when it comes to just sweeping from a fairly shallow little waver all the way up to a full-on drop-off at the end of every one of those waves. Just a fantastic pedal. And like I said, like so many things that MayFly does, it sounds great. It's a great form factor. It's a great looking pedal. There's just tons to like about it. I would very seriously, if you are in the market for for a tremolo pedal, for a board. This is the direction I would go in for sure. You know, and it's not just because I'm a fan, although I definitely am a fan. But you know, my sort of motto is whatever you select has to serve the music that you're trying to make. And this one makes great music. It just sounds fantastic. So that's it for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And yeah, as we're coming up to the holidays, I guess I should start wishing everybody happy holidays as we're, rolling towards, we're just starting into December now. And, next year, hopefully we'll get around to finishing the reno on this studio space. But in the meantime, if you want to help out, there's a button down below there that you can join the channel as a member and help out that way. And in the meantime, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you again really soon. I did say, by the way, that I owe you a little bit of this tone with the reverb, so let's hook that up while we're on our way out.